Bro, it's happening! What's up, demons? It is your boy HMK once again, and we got a huge, very juicy Kingdom Hearts Union Cross update to end off the year of 2020, and it looks like the end is near and we're getting some mad revelations, and we're going to talk about them with the theories and more on this hype video. It deals with aspects of the darkness, finally the revelation of Brain's Keyblade, and sets up some mad plausible connections between that of Union Cross, Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, Dark Road, and the advent of what we learned in Melody of Memory. So if you're ready, strap on in for the safety of hype, and let's dive directly into the darkness. Well, first and foremost, I gotta thank my boy Everglow for providing once again these awesome translations to the Japanese update of Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. If you want to find out the full video for yourself, check out a link to his channel in the description box below. Alright, let's get right into it. Of course, the cat's out of the bag when it comes to Brain's Keyblade, you know, the Master's Defender. It's called Master Keeper in Japan, which I prefer, but it's called Master's Defender. But this scene actually happens later on in the update, so we'll get to it once we go through everything chronologically. First and foremost, it seems that the world of Wreck-It Ralph is finally wrapping up. We're almost to the last part of the movie within Union Cross, so it seems that Union Cross' main story is going to have that finality very, very soon. Probably within the next 3 updates, I assume. And before we return to the scene of where Lauren was about to beat the ever-living daylights out of Ephemer and Ventus, we see a conversation between the Master of Masters and Lucio, once again continuing the conversation from the last update. Lucio inquires from the Master of Masters if he ever spoke to the darkness, in which the Master of Masters confirms that he has talked to it before. This conversation leads to qualities and aspects of the darkness in which they are able to converse with us humans. However, due to being in a different existence from regular humans and not being humans at all, their level of understanding and mentality does not align with ours. In short, they don't think like humans do. But that doesn't mean these beings that I've come to call the cognitive darkness aren't intelligent. It's just that they are on a different level of understanding than regular people, which leads to a very conversation between Lucio and Master of Masters, trying to figure out if they both have qualities of the darkness, in terms of their way of thinking at least. This also leads to the revelation that the darkness has a level of omniscience, in which they have a high level of awareness, and that most of the time they're always watching Wazowski. Always watching. Well, not always, I mean, like, they have to get close though. When wrapping up this specific conversation, it gets revealed that the darkness only believes in one thing, and that is hatred. And although it hates most of all people with pure hearts, that is its greatest weakness. And that goes into the plan of what the Master of Masters is trying to do with the Dandelions in remaking the next world, believing that is their best chance in battling or suppressing the darkness. But despite all of that, the Master of Masters still doesn't know exactly what the darkness aims to do. What does it want? Since we can't understand each other, beings of light and beings of darkness can't come to a mutual understanding, he can't figure out the end goal of what the darkness is trying to accomplish. All in all, it seems that the general understanding is that the darkness is the source of all conflict when it comes to existence. And due to being in a different existence from those who are within the light, they can't come to a mutual understanding on each other's goals, particularly being in a different string of mentality for each. But in my aspect, my belief for the darkness's end goal and what it tries to accomplish and whatnot is that the darkness simply wants to survive, to exist. As we see, for those who stay within the light, the concept of the darkness is always tied to hatred, evil, and the overall idea that it must be eliminated. So it could be possible that beyond the level of light's understanding, darkness's goal is to simply exist and grow and keep growing and keep existing. But at the end of the day, that seems a bit primal for beings that seem to be of high intelligence, but once again, it is beyond our conceptualized understanding. Now, there is a lot, and I mean a lot of philosophical talk we can get into the light, darkness, good and evil when it comes to that aspect, but there is more to look into when it comes to this big Union Cross update, as we shift gears from one conversation to another. As we go into the scene in which the darkness has risen out of Ventus, who is currently down for the count, and Lauriam was this close to sending him 6 feet under. Our boy Brain with the wisecracks was like, I never thought the form of darkness would look like something out of a kid's drawing, and I'm like, bro. In which the darkness replies, hey, this color and this voice, consider this a favor to you all that you can see me. Ephemer then asks the darkness what is its goal, and the darkness replies that it doesn't have one, that it's just drawing closer, that's all. For now. The darkness goes on to confirm what the Master of Master and Lucio was talking about, that it is in a different existence from Ephemer, Lauriam, Skuld, Ventus, and Brain, and because of that, their mentalities will never align and that their understanding will never be mutual. It goes a bit deeper, stating that the darkness doesn't have thoughts of completing things like humans do, nor does it understand them. Like, to the darkness, it states that, what's a plan? And now here's where things get dicey. Lauriam tries to figure out why did the darkness want to kill Strelitzia, his little sister. And then the darkness replies, because he wanted to. And when it says he, it refers to Ventus. And now you hear the collective shock and amazement when it comes to all these Ventus fans that think he can do no wrong, but don't worry, it's not as black and white as it seems. The darkness goes on to elaborate, it's not exactly because Ventus wanted to kill Strelitzia specifically, it's because Ventus apparently wanted power, and the darkness wanted to grant him power by killing Strelitzia and granting Ventus a spot within the Union leaders, thinking that by Ventus being a Union leader, he would have the power that he desired. So the darkness did what it had to do in order to grant Ventus' wish, and that Strelitzia merely was at the wrong place at the wrong time. That could literally have been anyone else, but it happened to be Strelitzia to be the one who took the fall. And when the other Union leaders are arguing with the darkness on the concept of power, of strength, of whatever it could mean, they're saying the strength of being a Union leader may not be the strength that Ventus really wanted. But to the darkness, it doesn't care, it didn't matter, the darkness did what it had to do. And in that moment in time, it just so happened that Strelitzia rolled a 1. Furious by the combined facts that not only his sister died, but his sister basically died for nothing, Lauriam tries to attack the darkness only to get bodied. So check it out, Lauriam and Ventus now they're sleeping buddies. Hooray! It is at this point that Brain starts to ask the darkness some very interesting questions. With the first being, why did the darkness decide upon Ventus to be a host? The darkness replies that he has been chosen, that it is written in the book of prophecies that this boy would be a host to the darkness, so it's literally making the prophecy true. Nothing more, nothing less. That apparently the tools of the darkness have been decided upon a long time ago thanks to the book of prophecies, in which this darkness apparently watched it be written. This revelation also goes along with the fact that the darkness claims that it's read the book of prophecies, at least the parts pertaining to the darkness, and that the Master of Masters is an old friend. Brain then inquires that if it was hiding the whole time, why appear now? The darkness replies that it wasn't really hiding, that the darkness is always on the move. It's just at this point in time that the Union leaders finally decided to acknowledge it and see it. This leads to the last questions from Brain, in which Brain asks about the whole we thing, how the darkness always refers to itself as we, we. The darkness then responds to this as saying that darkness is greater than light. And then the final question breaks down from Brain, asking if it's the only darkness in this room, in which it replies that it is. And then Brain busts out the old Keyblade, that's right, Master's Defender. And when Brain busted out this bad boy, Ephemer is like, what? Huh? And Skuld was really surprised too. As Brain prepares for battle, he tells Ephemer and Skuld that this is the strongest foe in history, so bring your all. And as the battle begins, it cuts away as Brain is doing a massive light-based attack. Oh baby, I am so ready for the implications. But before we talk about that whole Keyblade Brain thing for a second, we have one more cutscene when it comes to Lucio and Master of Masters, in which Lucio is very, very concerned about the dandelions, the children that will go off into the next world. And the Master of Master replies that, well, since you're going off to the next world and you're gonna have to keep watch over the Keyblade anyways, you can watch over these kids if you're so concerned. But remember, no meddling. And as we all know that Lucio does indeed become Braig, aka Xigbar, and that he was truly concerned for these kids back in the day, does this mean that he was always good, always watching, always a silent protector? Was he always holding back against Sora and company? I mean, thanks to the secret reports, he did let Subject X out of the cage. This just adds a bigger piece to the puzzle of Lushu's entire identity and his personality. I mean, there are instances within Xigbar's life that we see that he does have a soft spot for characters like Roxas and Shion, especially in 358 Days Over 2. But enough about that. Back to Brain and the Keyblade. So with Brain summoning the Master's Defender to fight against the darkness, this confirms outright a big idea that Brain is indeed connected in some way to Eraqus. Now, of course, many Kingdom Hearts fans, myself included, has stated time and time again that our belief that Brain and Eraqus are indeed related, like by blood, by blue blood, thanks to their similar features, thanks to the secret reports in Kingdom Hearts 3, and thanks to what we hear about in Kingdom Hearts Dark Road. So basically, it was like the secret that everyone in the Kingdom Hearts community was basically in on. But now, this adds more positive integers to the percentage of likeliness, in which it seems that Eraqus did indeed inherit his Keyblade, the Master's Defender, from his ancestor, who basically, long and short, more than likely is like 99% sure to be Brain. But this makes us ponder a couple of things, because within Dark Road, it states that Eraqus' grandfather was the one that fought within the Keyblade Wars, the Age of Fairy Tales, and that will put Eraqus as Brain's grandson. Now, if Brain lived an extreme amount of years or did some time travel nonsense, then 3 generations seem a tad small when it comes to referencing a Keyblade war that was supposed to be long ago, many years ago, so many lives ago. But who knows, maybe we'll get some clarification or an errata sometime down the line, as Dark Road has just begun and Union Cross is not over yet. But all in all, more and more evidence are stacking up on each other that Brain and Eraqus are indeed related. And then the second implication from this, which is very sad, is that now that we know that Brain indeed wields the Master's Defender, that truly means that Brain is going to be the one to be left behind before or after the break in which Ephemer, Skuld, Lauriam, Ventus, and Elrena go off into the New Age. As Brain will have to be left behind, he will have to sire a line, pass down his Keyblade, possibly open up Scala ad Caelum, and then eventually pass away while his other friends, his other Union leaders, go off into a new age in which they still exist at this point. With Ephemer appearing to soar somehow, with Ventus rolling around with Aqua and Terra, with Skuld possibly being Subject X, and with Lauriam and Loretta being Larxene and Marluxia. And thinking about it, boy, that sounds rough, and I don't think I'm ready for the break then. But honestly, this gets me super pumped and excited for the next update when it comes to Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. And when combined with Dark Road, we're getting a lot more understanding of what the darkness is, what the darkness wants or doesn't want, and how that could be applied to Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind and Melody and Memory going into the next Kingdom Hearts game. Especially since that we're dealing with Quadratum and the notion that the Master of Masters, the Ancient Masters, phase in and out of this world beyond that of light or darkness. And that, you know, Mickey apparently is going to Scala ad Caelum to learn some clues. But I want to know what you guys think about this massive story update. Leave your thoughts, theories in the comment section below, and if you enjoyed the video, please like, share, favorite, most importantly, subscribe to HMK for more Kingdom Hearts content every week. Big thanks to my Patreon supporters for help making this video happen. If you want to find out how you can support HMK for just $1 a month, check out my information in the description box below. Alright guys, until the next Kingdom Hearts video, this has been HMK, and I'll check you guys later.
So you haven't subscribed to HMK yet? Don't piss Xemnas off.